Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Five Star Revolution podcast with your host, CJ Price. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now and join us on Facebook, Five Star Revolution Podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest. He's all the way from Virginia, and his name is Avil Graves. How you doing tonight?
Well, tonight I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much, CJ. I appreciate you and your time. And all the listeners outside of this little box that we're setting our vibes from, appreciate you as well.
Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to joining me here tonight. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. It's anything I can do for a consummate professional like yourself.
I appreciate that, man. So I pretty much ask this question to every single guest that comes on my podcast because everyone has a different answer. Were you a fan of wrestling growing up? And if so, who's some of your favorites?
You know, everyone always asks everyone in the wrestling business, who was your favorite wrestler growing up? And I knew this going into this, that you were going to ask, of course, that first question, because it's like an icebreaker, if you will. And to be long-winded, because I'm going to be, it's probably why you asked me to be on your show. No, I did not necessarily gravitate towards pro wrestling as a child or in my younger years. I think men and women can go through growth spurts and they look at hero worship, maybe. It could be in sports. It could be in politics. No, baseball was actually my first hero worship where I wanted to be a baseball player. That Babe Ruth syndrome, I think, was for me, honestly. So if you wanted to tie anything into pro wrestling, I mean, sure, I saw pro wrestling eventually, and I eventually was kind of lucked out, honestly. I eventually lucked out. A lot of hard work, but I lucked out. And my favorite pro wrestlers were, I'll still answer this question to this day, everyone I've ever been in the ring with and everybody I've had the pleasure of doing business with. Those are my favorite pro wrestlers. And you all know who you are. But just, again, being very fortunate. That's my answer.
See, everybody has a different answer. I would never suspect you saying that. So, when you were growing up, later down the road in your life, how did you become a wrestling fan?
Two-part answer. How did I become a wrestling fan? Three-part answer. Dear God, I mean, think about all the crap that you get fed as a kid, Again, I go back to hero worship, or action figures, As a young man yourself, you have those little, I just said it, those things that you brought to your mind growing up that you played with or had with. Me, I really don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question. What was it again?
How did you become a wrestling fan? Do you remember the first time you tuned in to Raw, SmackDown, WCW, whatever it was?
No, it was other people talking about pro wrestling. It was other people. Okay, I know how to answer that question. It was other people talking about pro wrestling. I didn't really care much to watch a lot of TV. It was optional. It was there. I'd rather go out and do stuff, run around, skin your knee, get hurt, play football with the boys, even if you weren't good at it. Like I said, I liked to play baseball when I was a kid. So, like, how to get into wrestling? It was an optional thing. Like, I didn't wrestle in high school, but I did martial arts, and I was trained in the home, to be perfectly honest. So, as a small child, being trained in the home, self-defense, hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, and such, it was kind of a natural progression that I lucked out. And some people, I'll answer it like this. I don't know. Some people want to be a pro wrestler, but they know nothing about how to actually handle themselves in the ring. And modernly, we all know the business. You all think you know the business, and that's fine. I agree. There's a part of that too, but there's some folks that, especially on the indies, they'll eat you up, man. And so you have to be prepared, is what I'm saying. Otherwise, you might not stand a chance at ever getting to a better slice of the business at a higher tier, because, you might not be thick-skinned enough, I suppose. But how'd I get into it was by I lucked out. That's a long-winded answer, but I hope that answers it. you know.
So,
By hearing other people talked about pro wrestling on TV. I didn't give it much thought, and I was a martial artist, and I lucked out. I went to a pro wrestling gym at 18, but I started pro wrestling at 16, or started pro wrestling gym at 16, and I got just beat around and abused. But I held my own enough to go to a real gym at 18, where I met Jason Knight. And you know Jason. I'll stop talking for a minute. You should take control of your show. You know Jason. You know Jason Knight. He was my official first trainer, and God bless him, because he is a wonderful man. He's a great human being, and an addition as far as people who care and have empathy to this planet. He's a fantastic person. That's a shoot. So, yeah, that's how I started. I lucked out.
so to a little side comment on saying I should take control of my show. Every single guest, it's your show. It's your time. You're saying your story, so you can talk as much as you want, brother.
Well, good, because I will. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right.
So
No,
my,
well, by all means, thank you, sir.
my next question: you were not a big pro wrestling fan growing up. You lucked out. How or when was it that time, that day, where it popped into your head? I want to become a pro wrestler.
Oh, I guess that would be part B of that original thought you asked. This is going to be the part that is the tear-jerking shoot, if you will. You know, the part where my mama gonna really appreciate the answer. You know what I'm saying? Now, honest to God, you know, my mother and my father. I remember being 10 years old. I'm going to give you my age right now. I'm 10 years old. I'm watching a match. I want to say it was the first King of the Ring. It was. I might have been a pay-per-view event on cable. First King of the Ring. Uh, Bret Hart and Scott Hall. One of the matches in that. Well, anyway, I'm sitting there watching, enjoying it. You know, I'm like 9, 10 years old, and my parents are arguing, and I turned around, and to shut them up, I told them, I said, I'm going to be a pro wrestler when I grow up. They both stopped arguing. They looked at me. They smiled. I obliged them, and I went back to watching my fucking program that they paid money for. So, so, so that because they were being loud, you know. But that stuck with them, I guess, with me, I guess. And I don't know, maybe out of spite, I just fucking did it, and I did it pretty good. I don't know.
So at that time, you was like, I want to do this. I want to become a pro wrestler so I can show my parents up.
No, no, no. I was 10 years old to shut them up because they were arguing, not to show them up, to shut them up. I was watching a program on TV. They were arguing behind me. Shut up. Well, I'll show them. I'm going to go do this if you don't shut up. You know, like that was it. That was it. Bro. It wasn't anything woo esoteric or nothing. You ever watch a TV program and someone behind you is fucking talking? You paid $64.99 a fucking 3-hour block. You want to watch it? It's pay-per-view. Shut the fuck up. We paid for this. That was it. That was it.
So how did you break into the wrestling school? How did you find out about wrestling school in your area?
Oh man, there's a bunch of martial arts schools, and with the martial arts schools, you always get good publicity and bad publicity, and some of it is with oh, there's a pro wrestling school opening up, and of course there's mixed publicity. This was MMA has been around for 7 or 8 years by now, and that was mixed publicity as well. But you just kind of get to a grappling school. I did a lot of kickboxing and karate, and we did judo, and we did a lot of other Chinese shui jiao wrestling. I trained with various people as a young kid, and I was very fortunate. So eventually, by getting through the martial arts and getting into a grappling school or pro wrestling school, Jason was open. Jason Knight was open. Now, Killer Kowalski's was open up in Massachusetts, and I was too young a lot of the times. I didn't have a ride. I didn't have a car. I couldn't get up there as much. So when I heard that Jason Knight opened up in Waterbury, I had just turned 18. I had just got kind of used and abused from this first school at 16. He was fine. He was. I won't mention his name, but you know. I threw myself around willingly because, prove yourself in the business. It was a young kid. You get them white tigers or any color tiger from any denomination of tigers. It's an old Shaolin thing. The young kids get out and fight in front, you see. So that's the point. I was a young kid, got out and fight in front, and I got noticed. And then, so when I went to Jason Knight's school, I got noticed real quick because I made that shit look good. And I got very fortunate. And it was just a lucky bend that I was working with professionals and people who wanted to be professionals, people who wanted to pay each other's rent and not people who just wanted to pay their rent. I'll say that one again for anyone out there who's watching this one. And my friends will appreciate that one because that's how we roll. This is a family business. Don't treat each other right. You don't treat each other right, we take offense to it. So.
Well, just to piggyback off that, what you just said, there's a lot of egotistical people in this business, as you can attest to, and I'm pretty sure you've dealt with in your career.
Oh, it's fun. Sometimes it's fun.
So, my next question is: was it an easy transition for you from MMA to pro wrestling?
Forgive me. I didn't do MMA. I did some Shaolin Kempo Kung Fu. Forgive me, not being, snooty or anything, but I didn't do MMA. I worked with various schools in the state of Connecticut. There was about 30 black belt schools under Steve Damasco's United Studios of Self-Defense, in which I'm very proud to admit that I was a young 9-year-old male growing up in that various rank system and various. The men and women treated each other equally. There were women black belts and men black belts. There were everybody. It was a very diverse family of martial artists. So I had, again, just a good upbringing in the healthy traditions and rituals. And when I say ritual, I mean respect of what you're learning from people. So the wrestling business was really no different. Continue. Keep me going, brother. This is live, right?
No, this is all recorded, brother. This is all recorded.
Yeah, okay. So you'll make me look better. Okay, good. No, ask me that question again.
It's an easy transition from you from doing some sort of MMA to go to pro wrestling.
Okay. Yeah, forgive me. I didn't mean to correct you on the some sort of MMA. I know it's commonly everything is MMA these days. I know, which is fine. It was an easy transition. Yes, it was an easy transition. And I'll tell you why. Footwork. If anybody trains in good footwork, I think anybody can look good in the ring. And this goes back to what I said before, is if you can defend yourself for real, you can operate within any type of arena atmosphere. And a lot of that time, I'm going to say, you have no idea how many times people try to test you. Yeah, it's pro wrestling. And people think it's whatever you marks want to call it and you want to call it a fucking work. Listen, I'll tell you right now, people test me. People test me, they test you, they test everybody. That shit it's a shoot for you. Oh, it's a fucking real life work, honest payday for us. So, but yeah, it was an easy transition because I say I've had pretty good footwork. I had good footwork.
I want to mention that what you just said, that the fans think that wrestling is all fake and stuff. I want to get your opinions on that.
It is 2020 fucking 2, right? Are we in 2022?
Yes, sir.
Time traveler. Sometimes I don't always remember this shit. Yeah. Your question?
I said what?
I'll give you the right answer. This is how this interview goes from here on out. We just hit the time travel knock.
What's your opinion on those people that think wrestling is fake?
My opinion on those people who think wrestling is fake. Well, they would have their entitled opinion. And what is your definition of fake? As far as exhibitions go, it's an exhibition of skill. Bottom line, those who try to fake an exhibition of skill wind up looking like ass on a fucking ass cracker. Just looks like chicken shit. Now, if I have to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, I don't know. It's going to look fucking... Someone's going to have a problem that night, but it won't be me. You know, so I think a lot of us feel that way. You know, we know the business and we see the business, or we think we know the business and we think we see the business. And there's something in the business for everyone. I think what a lot of people like about the business mostly is that it is a suspension of disbelief, and it is an exhibition of skill and talent, and it shouldn't be political, but it winds up being at times, especially when there's billions and millions of dollars on the line. I say billions because of inflation these days. I'm still a world economist. I travel, so I don't know things. Yeah, that's the honest opinion of things. Like they're entitled to do what they want. You know, people are going to bet and book and naysay and enjoy. I think they should just enjoy it. You know, enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy boxing, regardless of whether that guy's ready for that guy. You can tell when somebody walks in the ring and they're not ready for that guy or girl. You know,
Very
you know
true.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You've seen that stuff. People get fed. I've been fed. You know, people have been fed me. You know, so like whatever. But it's an exhibition of skill, and we teach each other. We learn and we work. So, my opinion of everybody is enjoy it. You know, if you enjoy it like I do and can, regardless of the shady and the I don't think there's too much bad about anything. I mean, this is the business that I love and I work with. I try to work with. And there's plenty of people out there that they do something and it gets crapped on, it gets shit on, or they do something and it's loved. And, you know, you got to remember that people's lives are still at stake and they are working to either entertain or they are working to fight. They are working to make ends meet. My opinion of anybody who watches it or pays attention to it is try to remember that. Try to remember that you're still paying attention to people's lives. And sometimes those people's lives are controlled. And I never liked working for companies that controlled your life too much. The outcome of pro wrestling is the beautiful part about life is who you are should shine through first and foremost, not the bad publicity. Well, bad publicity, if who you are is bad publicity, then that shines through now too, doesn't it, CJ? So.
I couldn't say better myself, my friend. So my next question is, I'm sure the listeners, I'm sure our followers want to know who Avil Graves is. What's the character about?
No character. In fact, in every people have asked me that question so many times. Avil Graves, what's your character? What's your gimmick? Oh my God, who? I'm not exactly sure, other than I know exactly who I am, but who I am and who we all are inside has nothing to do with how everybody else in the world sees who you are, who I am. I don't really know how everybody else sees. I know how I see me, but now this is starting to sound a little psychotic. So, who am I? I would ask that you hold a mirror up into yourself and ask you the same question. Who are you? Because I can tell you just in the few minutes that we've been talking what I think about you. And I could probably be pretty right. I might be able to reach right into your eyes, through into your soul, and pick out things that you never knew. Maybe. I don't know. It's the internet and the phone. I might be a little off. But who am I? Who am I? I am whatever apparently you say I am. And that is not an Eminem reference. But
So you're just yourself turned up to 11 then.
yeah, turned up to 11 is about right. That's about the honest answer. Who am I? I'm focused. I'm loyal. I like to watch numbers go up. If I'm going to go for a ride, I want to take all my friends along for it. And anybody go along with me, let's go. That's kind of the way. Now, having said that, that can label me and put a target on my forehead just thinking thoughts like that. But no, it's a pure sentiment. You know, business first. You know, I don't like to make money off my friends. I like to make money with my friends. Sometimes it's brutal and bloody. Judge me, just what do you do for money? You know?
So this is the portion of the podcast where I challenge the wrestler.
Challenge.
Yes, if you want to accept the challenge, to do a 30-second promo, if you want, in character. I know you don't have a character per se, but a 30-second promo
You
Do
don't
you
think
think
this whole thing has been a character already? Like this whole thing. Oh, 30-second promo and character. All right. It's gonna suck. Go ahead.
on anything you want?
No, go ahead.
I'm waiting for you.
You're waiting for me, a 30-second promo and character to do what? What am I? What? Hold on. 30-second promo. You know what? I'm going to say it like this. You fucking promoters. You come on here. I just met you last night, the night before. You want me to cut you a 30-minute fucking interview. You've never even asked me other thing. Like, hey, man, I really appreciate you. I love you. And I love you, too. And I really appreciate you, too. I ain't fucking trying to fuck with you. But you asked me for a 30-second fucking promo. Technical difficulties. 30-second fucking promo after I've already been on the horn with you for 24 minutes and 7 seconds. What the fuck? I gotta tell you right now, I'm cool with that. We can keep rolling. Let's get going. You know what? I know a few people in the business that would have fucked you up by now, but you know what? Honestly, I'm a calmer, cooler head. I have learned. My college professors have definitely taught me a few things, and you know what? I'm going to learn discretion is the better point of valor, my friend. So I think that was longer than 30 seconds. But other than that, you're not in a ring. I'm not in a ring. I'm always ready. But we're not going to go hotel boogie. We're not going to get crazy. I'm not going to challenge you. Just challenge me. But I do want to ask you one thing. Will you pay for a plane ticket for me to come up to Massachusetts for you to book me in a match with whoever the fuck is crazy enough of my old friends that I've known for at least 20 years anywhere in the New England area? You're talking about cutting a promo. I'm asking, I'm begging, somebody bring me back. I don't care who's popular now. I don't care what or who remembers me. I know you all do. Let's bring it back. You want an Avil Graves promo? Can you tell me to shut up? Take control of your
So, Mr. Avil Graves, I want to ask you a personal question.
You haven't already yet. Go.
So you used to be from the New England area, specifically Connecticut, correct?
Sadly.
What made you move from Connecticut to Virginia?
Oh, God. Connecticut is a glorified highway off-ramp stuck between New York City and Boston. Don't bother stopping anywhere. Unless it's at Ted's world-famous steamed cheeseburgers on Route 8 in Meriden. They're delicious. Go there. There's a good food place in Connecticut. Plenty of good food places. Yes, Ted, I gave you the free plug. You're welcome. Pay me. Yeah, Connecticut. I don't know. It was time. Wanted to get out to nature. Wanted to get out somewhere it was quiet. And I knew there was great wrestling associations down here in the South. Sometimes you just kind of saturate yourself in an environment and you want to get out. And I've always enjoyed being out in the wilderness and, living off the land and keeping it simple, especially with a business like this. It's easy to get caught up in things if you let it. And, maybe I let it. And so I just wanted to get out and rehash my self into a new area where I could be the same me, but amongst a new group of people. I think that's a good, healthy thing these days, especially with the internet. Everybody stays at home, and this is pre-COVID. This is 8 years ago. But yeah, especially now, I take for granted because I'm relatively unaffected from most of what has happened. Psychology-wise, I don't see a lot of people. So past 2 years, although they've been tragic in its own right for my personal, but the enforcement's been relatively non-existent. I see deer and bear and squirrels. There's people, don't get me wrong. But you catch my drift. So, there.
So when you first made that move,
This is an interview where we go off on tangents. You can't not. You got to fill up a half hour, folks. I mean, what do you want me to say? When does a man sleep? Huh.
when you first made that move to Virginia, was it harder for you to make connections in the wrestling business?
No, it wasn't. Actually, as soon as I got down here, I got it starting to work. I went right to work, actually. It wasn't hard at all. Should I keep talking? Yeah, no, I started working very, very, again, lucked out. This one was a grace. I lucked out. where should I start with this? Because I guess I was with other people before yeah. I was at the NWA Hall of Heroes in 2016, 17, 15, 16. Well, anyway, I was outside, uh, got there early just because I had a room and was tired. I wanted to get there early because amongst all the bullshit. Saw a man out there. He was unloading his truck, and I went over there to go help him. Wouldn't you know it? It's the great Roger Smith himself. Of all people, that some young, lucky, wannabe pro wrestler, or, working pro wrestler, wannabe. Well, I lucked out moving into a new location in Virginia. So Roger Smith, he didn't know who I was, but we met each other real quick, and we got to know each other pretty well. And we started IWCW, Independent World Class Wrestling. Nice little 6-month promotion that we ran out of West Virginia, put it on the Bluefield Television, the West Virginia CW. And, it was just something we did to have fun. But it was nice that I got to meet somebody who's been in the business since the 60s and a well-known for 20, 30, 40 years in his own right. There's, and you can look them up. Go ahead, look them up. I think a lot of the times in my life, I've just been very fortunate and lucky to be in the right place in the right time and be willing. Be willing. Don't sit there and say you know a bunch. I hate the interviews where I come off. Oh, he thinks he fucking knows everything. No, nobody knows shit. I don't know shit. You luck out, and you're a good person. You try hard, and you do it. And then you benefit. And you're not the only one because there's a bunch of us. And that's why it works. This is more than just wrestling.
I like that mentality, man. For real. Keep that mentality up. So, what can we expect out of Avil Graves in the next 3 years?
Oh, God. Well, believe it or not, these days in my woods, I've been working on music as well as wrestling. I am still apparently, currently, even though it is defunct, the World Fighting Showcase, No Holds Barred champion. That's what happens. You put a title on me, company goes tilt. It happens. Sorry, that's an inside rib on somebody else. You know who you are. He walks amongst the living as Rob. Ron Zombie. Look him up, too. Anyway, he's into it. You know Ron. Everybody knows Ron.
Yeah, he used to work here.
That's right. That's right. You know Ron, of course. Oh, God. How do we go back now? See? Now it's all making sense. It's all connecting. So, yeah, what do you expect of me in 3 years? What do I expect of you? I expect you to get me a ticket back up there, and we can book some matches between me and Ron Zombie in Connecticut or Massachusetts. That's what I think. But no, honestly, down here, I've got a couple of projects on the personal level. You can't wrestle for the rest of your life and, punish thy flesh. But we work a wood and steel restoration project called Lazarus Restorations. We do all sorts of antiques. We have a few professionals. They do cars, guitars. Custom one-of-a-kind deals. And that'll all be up there. You won't know it's me, but personally, yeah, I'm part of those companies and doing some things. Entrepreneurship all the time. You got to keep it going. Stack that gold and silver, folks. So, yeah, what can you expect of me? More wrestling. I would like to actually start doing some more tournaments through the Kempo Jutsu Kai Institution out of Hawaii. I'd like to start running kickboxing grappling tournaments. Again, nonprofit or profit, depending on how we can get things rolling. It's through various martial arts schools and grappling schools. So, I've got a lot of things going on. COVID shut the world down, stopped a lot of things. And it got people interested in, doing things online. Well, I'm not interested in doing things online. I like doing things out live. I like people having a good time leaving their house, and keeping money in the community as well as getting that vibe where people feel like they've got somewhere to go and they're part of something, and there's something for everybody. So whether profit or nonprofit, that's how we roll. That's how business gets done. And that's just a few of the things on the stove that I'm working with recording studio for various artists that I've been working with. Again, I'm not the greatest musician or anything, but I do work with people, all types. My best friends are the techies, the ring crew, the lighting assistants, the graphic designers, the wardrobe people. Those people I talk to all the time. The people I work in the ring with, I'm very fortunate to just meet them, and we work together, and we just have such a good time. It's you don't meet everybody, and sometimes we don't have a good time, and we have to do something else, and then we wind up being the best of friends, but it hurt. So it's life, it's life.
Yep, I agree, man. So last question for me, Mr. Graves.
I hope I answered these in some type of acceptable, session. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I answered anything appropriately, yes or no. I think I just went off on my own little tangents and said whatever the fuck I wanted to say.
Hey,
So,
man, that's the beauty of this podcast. Anything goes.
righteous. I appreciate your being you.
Absolutely, my friend. So last question for me, Mr. Graves. When it's all said and done, when you're done from in-ring competition, do you want to stay in the wrestling business? And if so, what do you want to do?
The wrestling business is kind of like a sickness. It's cliche, but it is. You get a little itch, and then it draws you back in a little bit. There's something about the willingness to compete and the exhibition and the reason for being there. Everybody looks at things differently. I guess you have to be a competitor, or you have to be. I hate the word performer. I don't go out there and perform, because when I fucking stiff you, it's because I didn't think you hit me hard enough. When we go out there, there's various sides to the business, but we all know what we want to see out of the business. Since this is a fucking shoot, and I can be crucifying myself right now. I don't think I am, but I'm going to say it. We all know what we want to see out of the business. You started me off with a question about how my transition from MMA. I think MMA should be called pro wrestling. It's the same fucking thing. It's just that some people are more willingly to fucking have their fucking ligaments snap on a shoot. Some people are more willing to get punched in the fucking face, clobbered as fuck. Now, forgive me for dropping those bombs. An interview I try not to, but it's a half hour. We're just talking blood and guts honest. Now that doesn't make me, a hard ass or want to see somebody get hurt. I'm willingly, people usually choose the martial art based on, I personally feel, after the years of competition, in any setting at all, what are you willing to have happen to you? Well, me, I'm willing to have myself knocked unconscious, punched, kicked, whatever. I'm not willing to have my knee snapped out of place. I think I'll do kickboxing. It's just one of those things you make a decision on, and then you cross train as you get older or whatever. But I think that's a lot of it too. So, business, psychology, money, follow the money, exhibition always. Exhibition between two willing participants who really want to fucking do some damage to each other is a good damn fight now, isn't it? I like it. And that's if you can book it, but because it's on, it's good, or if there's mutual respect enough to have these type of things happen. Now we're talking Rodney King. Not Rodney King, sorry, Don King. Wow, that's a Freudian slip. You need to fucking edit that one out. Now we're talking Don King. All right, now we're talking Don King. Come on, people, give that one to me. I'm fucked up. Because it's the same thing, promoters and what makes a good fight? What makes a fucking good fight? So that's how I see things, and it's my personal opinion, and I'm nobody, and I don't think I'm the only one out there that thinks like this. Like, I wouldn't be caught dead at some of these Mark shows, I've been there, and maybe I haven't. I don't think I've been there.
But you didn't answer my question.
I know I didn't. God bless you. God bless you, brother. Go ahead. Take control of your show. I told you to take control of your show.
Well, here's a good way to end it. Where can our followers catch up with you on social media? I'm sure they'll love to follow you.
I really don't do a lot, but I try. I got a YouTube. You can type in Avil Graves into the Google. You can type in Avil Graves into YouTube. I have a channel. It's Avil Graves. I believe it's all one word, no space. You can. Oh God, I don't know if I should say that, but yeah, Facebook. There's a Facebook. It's Avil Graves. Look at that. I try to post every now and then. A lot of it's just martial arts, wrestling. Sometimes it's wrestling for other companies. A lot of the promotion is wrestling for other companies, especially whether I'm working for them or not. But I might know them if I don't know them, and I like them, and maybe or they don't hire me. But your best way is to get a hold of me or try to get a hold of me. You can email me, Avil_Graves@yahoo.com. By all means, don't flood me with a bunch of bullshit. But if it's legitimate business, please, I'd love to hear from you. If anybody's looking for custom guitars, there will be a website. Pay attention to the YouTube. The YouTube is more like an autobiography anyway. So anything that happens, if you want to pay attention, I don't know. I'm still a young man, sort of. The world's a big place, and it's turning back on, which is I'm very fortunate. You can also go to the World Fighting Showcase, WFS. You can also go to WrestleRewind.com. It's a pay site, but it's well worth it. YouTube is mine. Pay attention to that, I guess, and I should be uploading more. But ultimately, I'm available. I'm available for bookings. But listen, I just had a guy shoot me a line, and I know everyone's different in their age and where they're at in the business. And I'm not saying that I need a shit ton of money to leave my house, but I do live in the woods, and the highway is an hour and a half away. Just saying. If you are a young promoter and you need to start a wrestling business, might I suggest first having money? Because a lot of these people that you want, if you want your business to take off and do well, to have any type of clout whatsoever, and I mean clout, we're talking about actual business. We're not talking about you paying your rent. We're talking about you paying everybody's rent. And I know this is me, and God rest his soul. Okay? He paid everybody's rent. Okay? If you're going to open a promotion, and it's difficult, and you want to be on TV, you need money, and you need startup, and you need a street team. You need a promoter that's not going to sit back and think that they know what they're doing. They don't. The promoters who know what they're doing are already doing. Everybody's fine. Okay. So if you're a young promoter, I got a lot of people contacting me. It's not just you. It's not just anyone I'm talking about. Don't take offense. But I'm saying I've done this. I've been fortunate to be over the shoulder of people who have done this, and I've learned. I'm not the only one, but there's a lot of things. There's ways to go about it. Nobody does this shit for free. Having said that, this interview, we will talk about that later.
Well, there you go, folks. Go follow my friend Avil Graves on all those platforms that he just mentioned. Go visit all those websites that he just mentioned. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, 5 Star Revolution Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 5 Star Revolution Podcast. Mr. Avil Graves, thank you so much, and we wish you the best of luck in your career, my friend.
God bless you, CJ. We'll talk soon. And everybody out there in internet land, listen to CJ. He knows who he's talking about.
Thank you, man. Have a good night.
God bless you.